Today's guest is Warren Inspire, an international speaker, author, and the founder of Street Ballers Academy. Warren has spoken on stages around the world, reached thousands through his work, and sold over 3,000 books globally, sharing practical tools around confidence, resilience, and mindset. But what makes his work truly powerful is that it's built on lived experience. Growing up in care, football became his escape. He went on to play professionally for Bristol Rovers before being released at just 19, a defining moment that forced him to confront his purpose, belief, and life beyond the game. That journey took him to the US, where he combined coaching with mindset work and professional speaking, sharing platforms with the likes of Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, and Stephen Bartlett. 6 years ago, personal tragedy reshaped his focus, and from that, Street Ballers Academy was born. Today, Street Ballers is redefining youth football by putting mindset before skills, using filmed games, creative challenges, and content creation to help children build confidence, self-belief, and a strong sense of who they are. In this conversation, you'll gain insight into how to build confidence in young people, how to support children through pressure, and why mindset is the foundation for performance, both on and off the pitch. This is a conversation for parents, coaches, and anyone passionate about youth development. This is Warren Inspire and the mission behind Street Ballers Academy. Welcome. Warren, people are going to hear your story. You grew up in care. You played for Bristol Rovers and you were released at 19. You moved to the USA. You started coaching children. You then started on an incredible speaking journey. What I want to ask is, what you lived through as a young boy, how much of that is shaping what you do with the work you do with children today?
Hi, Emma. That's a great question. And I would say everything that I'm doing today with children is a result from my past. I believe if I didn't go through the things that I went through in my past, I wouldn't have the self-awareness, the emotional intelligence, the ability, my purpose. So I believe, sometimes a lot of people blame their childhood or the traumas that they go through, but I blame it for the positives in my life and giving me direction.
Yeah, so you're owning what happened rather than using that as an excuse for anything bad.
Exactly, it's a script. If you look at any great movie, it doesn't go once upon a time amazing, middle amazing, end amazing. It's just our story script, and you're not going to see the full canvas until you know the end of your life. So I just trust the process, and I know that everything I've been through has been life university for me.
Is there anything that you felt you needed as a child that you are intentionally giving to the children that you're working with today?
Definitely, I think what I needed as a child was a dad, a male role model in my life, someone that would get my head up after a game if I lost a game, someone to watch me playing football, someone to celebrate me as a kid. I believe I feel like in myself, I would have got a lot further in the football world if I would have had that male role model. So knowing how that feels not to have that, I feel like this is why I do what I do with the kids, to give them that positive male role model in their life.
You just touched on something that I noticed myself sort of from being on the sidelines, and it's, you just said somebody watching you play football. And I know that both of my boys, I was always there in the rain, snow, sunshine. I was always there watching. And if something happened, good or bad, the first thing they would do is look round, and they wanted to know that somebody was there. So what you've just said, it's just completely resonated with me there.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so important. I think kids crave off of that external validation, and having someone like your parent. Yeah, for me, obviously, like my mum wasn't really a fan of football, so like yeah. So definitely, I feel like every child needs a supporter watching them.
I have to say, I was never a fan until I was thrown in at the deep end. And then, I don't know, it just kind of happens. It comes upon you, and you end up that ultimate football fan. So,
Definitely.
you were released at 19 years of age from Bristol Rovers. That's pretty brutal, especially when football is a huge part of your identity. How did that moment shape you? And if I can add this, how do you teach kids now that football is more than just winning and trophies and succeeding?
So for the first part of the question, I would say, being released from Bristol Rovers, it was probably one of the toughest moments in my life. It was my whole identity. I think going back then, sometimes you don't realize when you're growing up as you're a teenager that one person's opinion, a coach's opinion of you, is just an opinion. It's not factual. And yeah, it brought me to my lowest I've ever been in my life. That moment was, yeah, a very low point in my life where I was like, what's the point? What do I do in my life? Um,
Was
and
there
I,
any support for you at that stage?
no, no. So when I got released, I just left my own devices, went to a few like exit trials, but yeah, just I went through depression. Actually, it started my depression after playing for Bristol Rovers. Yeah, I was like, I think especially because I grew up in care as well. Like football was my vehicle. It was my way out. It wasn't just about playing the game. It was about providing a life for my family that I never had as well. So when that was taken, it was just, yeah, devastating.
Yeah, I mean, we hear so many stories, and I believe how long ago did that happen, Warren, in terms of years?
Well, I'm 22 now. Joking. So I would say 15, 16 years ago. 15, wait, no, no, no,
Yeah,
wait. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I would say about 17 years ago.
yeah. I mean, I think that there are a lot more provisions in place, but we've heard some real horror stories, and I think what you've said mirrors some of the other stories that we've heard. Is that football, if especially if you've gone through the academy system, you give away so much of your childhood for the academy, for the system. So when they cut you loose, there's kind of like, what next? Where do we go? So I think you're not alone there
Yeah,
in terms of how it just left you feeling so empty. So a lot of kids will define themselves as a footballer, and that becomes like first, like what do you do, what do you want to do? I'm a footballer. And I think especially for those children that are in the academy system, you've experienced this. How are you helping kids build an identity that is just bigger than performance? It's more than being the footballer.
definitely. Good, great question. Yeah, so what I believe children need, is the right mindset that regardless of whatever they end up doing, they will be happy doing it. That it's not on the external, it's not on the football. Football is a vehicle, but the real magic is within themselves. I didn't realize this until I became a speaker, and I was like, I get the same dopamine fix, the same like even more passion for speaking on a stage and helping people than I did with football. So I want these, children to realize that actually football's their dream, to have that dream, because I think a lot of people don't fail in life because they aim too high and miss. It's because they aim too low and hit. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Then they can maneuver, they can be in the football industry still, but there's so many options that I think with the world that we're living in right now, there's so many avenues that they can go down. But the magic is always within them and not anything on the outside.
And that's what you're doing at Street Ballers. It's You're not about just football skills. You're going mindset first. Am I right in saying that? And why is it important that you're flipping this traditional coaching model for kids today?
So, the idea of the Street Ballers Academy, where it came about was I actually had a company called the YouTube Academy where I teach life skills via being a positive YouTuber. Because I realized when teachers would come to me, Emma, and they'd say to me things like, Jack finds it really hard to focus in the class. He struggles. He's got so much potential, but he struggles with his focus. And I sat into one of their lessons once and I remember hearing the maths teacher talk. And I was like, Jack's not the problem. Your delivery is the problem. And I was like, actually, where is Jack hyper focused? And it's watching YouTube, playing computer games. Okay, cool. So these computer games and this YouTube world, they've probably got the best psychologists and they understand human psychology. So therefore, what is it? It's getting these children's attention. And I realized that it's fast, snappy, tonality. And I literally, copied that model and brought it something positive, teaching life skills with that. So I was like, it worked with the positive influencer. I was like, this will work with football as well. And actually, I think I was flicking through, social media, and you saw that big headline: Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, and that made me think. Actually, it's not about how great you are, because Jake Paul's not one of the greatest boxers out there. But what Jake Paul, whether you like him or dislike him, what he's great at is marketing and creating a platform and getting people eyes watching his content. So I was like, if 1% of these kids make it as a professional, which is very slim, and it gives all of the power into these clubs, what if we give these children the power? What if we create a platform where they can go and we can go and fill up a stadium, and they can go and meet Mbappe and Cole Palmer, and we can team up with companies like ProDirect and all of these big companies. If we can bring the eyes on us, which we can, and teach these kids on how to communicate effectively, because there's a lot of kids that are great at football, but there are many great players. And I feel like if these young players can have a voice and to speak and to build a brand, then they have the power back to them rather than the clubs having the power of who they pick. These kids can have a voice. And there's actually an inspiring young man, he's 18 now, called Tekka's Kid. And I remember watching him since he's like 8 years old. And his dad would film him every day. And his subscribers started growing. And then he was interviewing Ronaldo. So, and then now he plays for Birmingham City. So I was like, it works. The model works. And it's a perfect fit that I could literally go into schools and I can run these academies for whilst they still play for their grassroots teams and other academies, but give them the mindset that it takes more than just talent. You need to have, a voice and those life skills. And what I'm most passionate about, Emma, is, and most adults are not aware of this, is how your mind works. And what I do is I dilute this for children to understand that actually they then understand what emotion is. How is emotion created? How do I master a skill set that it becomes like walking? How many days must I be consistent at something until I master that skill? And because children are not taught this, they struggle with learning new skills because they don't like failing. But actually, failing is the process of success. You need to fail, like walking. And yeah, so that is what we've created at the Street Ballers Academy, and yeah, that's the vision of where we want to go.
Love that. Fun fact for you: Tekka's Kid was one of the very first Lacey's ambassadors. So when we launched, I think Harry Redknapp was, who's a local chap to where we're based, I think he might have been at Birmingham, and he kind of did a little skit with Tekka's Kid and our band. So, but I mean, that boy, that whole family actually have gone on to huge success based off of the content that they've created. And there's kind of a lot of spin-off accounts now, aren't there? There's Tekka's Kid, but now there's the whole family and the brothers and the sisters.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, I love the connection with, how that all connected. I'm very sort of like spiritual in that sense, but what they've done was incredible. I feel like in this pursuit of following your dreams, if you can create a platform to help others to follow their dreams and see beyond just your own personal goals, you'll have abundance for yourself to grow as well.
But there's the fallback for them as well, isn't there? Because if football doesn't, is he 18 now? So if football doesn't, he clearly is doing very, very well. But as we all know, 19, you could be out of the door. So, and they've got a huge platform now to fall back on, and his career is made, whether that's kicking a ball or creating content.
Yeah, exactly that. Or he could literally create his own team and get bring in bigger numbers than most Championship League One teams.
I believe my son said 2 days ago, it's unbelievable that the Sidemen can sell out Wembley in a few hours. And again, that's just another example of content creators that just have an audience, are able to get together these teams, and they fill a national stadium.
100%. I think what influencers do incredibly well is they provide entertainment. Sometimes football alone is boring. If you can add something different and bring some entertainment, it captures an audience. So yeah, like again, like these young, I know that mid-20s now, but like what they've created, like the Sidemen stuff, is just
That's
is
mind-blowing.
it is mind blowing. It's amazing.
So going back to parents,
Hmm.
and we can, and I'm saying a sort of a royal we here, we can inadvertently focus on the wrong things for our kids. So if you want to play a pathway, that's your focus. It's focused on results, it's focused on the skills. What do kids struggle with mentally that adults completely underestimate and we need to change?
I think sometimes a lot of adults can put, not knowingly, a lot of pressure on these children. So sometimes what I find, they've missed a shot and their head goes down and they're in a they're sad, they're down because, or they do that look, like they look at their parents, see like, oh, I've made a mistake, and because they want to impress, subconsciously want to impress their parents. So I think just the pressure, and I think win, lose or draw, making mistakes, it's just about reinforcing good behavior and no celebrating and exaggerating that praise and just allowing them a space to express rather than trying to impress their parents.
Yeah. It's I do feel like parents should kind of have a bit of teaching before they let their kids go out onto a pitch. Like let the children go, let them go and kick a ball.
Yes.
Right. This should be the guidebook to, good parent behavior on the sidelines, what you should say, what you shouldn't say. Like for me, when my sons came off, I just would always say, "Did you enjoy that?" If there was a bad game, I would hold that thought just for a little while, get them in the car, get them a hot chocolate, then kind of try and bring some positive out of it. But rather than that sort of post-match analysis, I think that's completely unnecessary for a child.
Exactly. And I feel like up until 18 years old, it's all play. It should be just play because the real results matter when you're 18 above and when, for example, if they get into the pro game. But now it's about play. I feel like let them play. That's how they master an art. If they make a mistake, like it's okay, Joey. Do you know what, Joey? Like what I love is that you gave 100%. It's so good. You could have had a bad day at school. Could have been something's going on. It's completely fine. Allow them to express themselves. It's okay to make as many mistakes as you like. You're human, and just enjoy it. Not to allow the ego to take over, but actually just being present with your children and seeing them do the game that they love, play the game that they love. I think that's the most important thing.
What do you think confidence looks like in a young player, and how do we build on it?
Oh, okay. So confidence is the ability to be. So for me, it's these children. I feel like children that are confident are the ones that are not worried about what others are thinking of them, and they are expressing themselves. They're not scared to try a new skill or make a mistake, and they are in the moment. They're present. And was the second part of the question? How do you develop that?
Yeah, how do we develop confidence?
Yes. So you have to create a safe space for the kids. So, for example, failing. Like what I tell the young ballers that I coach is, here's a mistake card, and you have as many goes at making as many mistakes as you like. Okay. So I don't want you to be perfect. You're not a robot. You're not AI. I want you to just keep going and learning and having fun. And don't get frustrated. Don't get angry. This is the process of downloading the skill. So once, yeah, you keep creating that space that they're allowed to fail. They are allowed. Failing is a part of the process. Once the child understands that, the brain, there's something called ego-based fear, and it's the fear of being judged or not being good enough. So once you can train the brain that that fear is not real, it's not danger fear, your life is not in a threat. And once the child understands that, so they can make mistakes, it's not life or death in a game or in training. Once the brain can understand that, it turns off that fear, and then they are present, and it's like they're playing in their back garden, but on a pitch in front of a crowd.
I love that. I think we should actually make like the mistake card. We should get to training right. You got the mistake card today. You just go out there
Yes,
and make as many mistakes as you possibly can. That's
exactly.
your job today.
That's it.
It's
And
kind of
Emma,
just completely flipping it.
yeah, and it's like when you see those videos where the boy's got, well, that man's got a little ping, little table tennis ball, and he's trying to get it into this little thing, and he's trying 1,000 times. Do, 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 miss. Do, 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 do. Have you seen it? Where you
No.
throw. Oh, you're not. I mean, yeah, but basically, it's, like a trick shot. So someone's trying to get a
Yeah.
ball, they're throwing it. Wow. It's not one take. It's the more they do it, and then it becomes muscle memory, and then it becomes second nature. It's a bit like Curry in basketball. He just gets in every shot because he's
Yeah.
missed so many.
As soon as you started saying ping pong, I kind of went to beer pong. So probably that's what I've seen. You've seen something
Yeah.
completely
But do you
different,
know
but
what?
I
I
know
can't believe.
exactly the wavelength.
Yeah, I think my ADHD, when you got ADHD, you go everywhere. So on the dark, on that circle of scrolling on TikTok, you come across these videos where I'm just like, oh my God, when's he going to get it in? Is he going to get it in now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 years ago, you lost your brother. That
Mhm.
changed everything for you. Obviously, don't discuss anything that you don't want to, but I just wanted to know how, like, the period of grief that you went through initially and
Mhm.
the continuing grief that you have now, how has that changed the way that you view success and the impact that you have on the world?
Um, it's funny, like, whenever you mention my brother, anyone mention my brother, I get emotional. But it's beautiful. It's not
Yeah.
like it's not a sadness. It's an emotion. I think the price of um grief is love, or love. Price of love is grief, or one of the two. But yeah, I live I live naked now, in a sense of not physically naked, but I am truly authentic, and I know exactly why I'm here, and I have my priorities right in life. I love people, especially children, even more so. I'm conscious of time. I'm present more. Because sometimes when you're in business, you can chase where you're going, but you forget the now. It's made me, I believe in God. I love God with all my heart, and I had a lot of anger towards God, but I love Him with all of my heart, and I do this work for Him in a non-preachy way. But I feel my brother. I feel like for me, my brother didn't leave. He's still here because energy can't evaporate. It can't go. So yeah, so my brother's with me. My viewpoint on life and death is just completely changed. I'm not distracted by the glitter and glams of this world. I'm very connected to self and people. And I just believe children. Like, I feel like if my brother had that male role model in his life, a father figure
Hmm.
who was present in his life, because we both grew up in care. So a lot of kids that grow up in care end up going down the wrong path because they feel unloved, but they don't realize how special they are. And I knew that from a young age. I knew how special I was from a young
Yeah.
age. I knew that no matter whatever I was going to go through in life, I was always going to overcome it. And so I just see so many children. I feel like I see the car crash before it happens. I see a lot of children about 9, 10, 11 years old, innocent and pure. And they get to 14. And that's when they start doubting themselves, low self worth, mental health issues, vaping. Yeah, so in my brother's memory, I just really want to help as many children realize that they are absolutely special, that they are amazing, they are a genius, and they just need the right teacher, they need the right guidance, and they can achieve anything. Yeah, so yeah,
Thank you for sharing that with me,
okay.
Warren. I know we've spoken about it before, and I know how hard it is sometimes for you to speak of him,
Yeah.
and
No,
clearly
no,
it's
yeah,
so raw for you.
and for me, like, it's not hard. I love speaking to my brother. When you ask that question, I love it. I love it. It's beautiful. And I feel like for me, I'm a massive advocate of men crying because a lot of men don't cry, you know? And my brother being an example of it, my brother used to always go, oh, Warren's a preacher. Like he is quite a, quote unquote, they say manly man. But actually, there's a lot of men out there that go through so much, and they see crying as a weakness. But actually, it's not. It means you care. It means you got a heart. It means it's a way that you remove things that are not supposed to be inside of you. I think that's why, they call it depression, because you're suppressing emotions when you cry. So yeah, so for me, I'm a very big advocate for Emma. I cry a lot. So and my brother is one of the closest connections in my life. So yeah.
It's beautiful. Did that experience, did that shift you? I mean, you've said everything you do now is to help children, but sort of your focus was kind of chasing stages, chasing applause. Even, your first stage was the football pitch, your second stage was the speaking stage. But do you feel like now the experiences you've been through, you're creating something that's a bit more grounding, a bit more long lasting, and is street ball as part of that healing process?
It is. I would say speaking on stages. So before my brother's passing, so when I was 21, when we talked about when I got released from Bristol Rovers, that football then was external. It was like the vehicle that I got applause. I felt this love from other people. I needed everybody else to love me because I didn't love myself. Then I went through depression, and then when I moved to America and I came across, Tony Robbins, and I watched one of his videos, and he had the same story as me. And I was like, all this time I've been saying, like, God, why me? Why me? With a little violin, feeling sorry for myself. I never asked what for. So it was 21, I became spiritually awake, conscious. Those questions when you ask yourself or you're at late at night, like, who am I and why am I here? And I used to be really extremely shy, which held me back in football so much because I was scared of making a mistake. I'd pretend to be injured some matches because I was afraid. And I was like, I want to be confident. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to be charismatic. I'm going to be the person around behind closed doors in my everyday life. And I held that little Warren inside of me. I done that inner child healing. And I said, Warren, you can play now. You don't have to be an adult. You don't have to worry about what Stephen thinks of you because Stephen's not going to pay your mortgage or, when you die, they're going to live on their life. You're going to be. And I think from that moment, so all the speaking has always been heartfelt. But as you know, like when you're in business, Emma, like sometimes like it changes in the sense of like, oh my God, okay, cool. Now I need to, bring money in and I need to. So sometimes you can lose. When I moved to Mayfair, and you're around other speakers and coaches, the ego can, get you a little bit. And you're like, and then I think God will humble you. Yeah, God. But yeah. So definitely, I feel like, my brother passing, brought me even closer because I feel like a lot of us, we all know we're gonna die, but a lot of us put it to the back of our head and we make 5-year plans and 10-year plans and all these things, but realizing that you could die tomorrow, it makes it present. So I've always got like a sand timer in my head that this could be my last day, and it allows me to be present. And I think with Street Ballers Academy, especially having ADHD, I can sometimes be trying to catch 10 rabbits. My sole purpose and focus now is on street ballers. I feel like it aligns to when I first started speaking and when I moved to America, I was coaching children football, and those kids helped me probably more so than I helped them. So yeah, street ballers is the vehicle that I'm using to make a massive difference on the pitch for those children and off the pitch.
And some of the work that you're doing with the children and you're helping them become these like mini content creators.
Yeah.
What do the kids gain when they record something with you or you give them some advice and then they see themselves on the camera? Okay, so let's talk about like the good, the bad, and actually the uncomfortable, because it's not a natural thing for everybody to have that camera in front of their faces.
Yeah, so it's almost like show them what they want, give them what they need. So if you ask a child, if you went to a school and said, what do you want to be when you're older? 9 out of 10 of them are going to say, I want to be an influencer, I want to be a YouTuber, TikToker. A lot of these, when I go to schools, that's what they say. So, but actually, what I'm doing is actually helping them to find self, to find who they are, and to get that sense of significance, because you need a level of confidence to be able to show up, shine your light, get criticism, and allow it to fall off you like water off a duck's back. So these life skills that these kids are learning are transferable in all their career paths and showing up in life. I believe there's a lot of adults out there that could have done so much more of their life if only they knew who they were and how their mind works. So so I'll say like that is the rapper. So the influencer is the rapper, but actually the life skills is what's helping those kids to have a voice, be present, and change your life.
That's crazy to think. So you go into a school, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the common answer now is content creator, influencer. I'm going back a couple of years now, but when I was at school, it was like doctor, nurse, train driver. The world has
Absolutely.
gone so digital that is all. That's what a young person thinks
Yeah.
of that is their future.
Yeah. And Emma, I think as well, I think the younger generation, I think they're very smart. I think they're starting to realize that this industrial revolution, working until you're 65 years old, working for peanuts, but actually working really hard. I think the older generation, they're taught, work hard, you must work hard. But actually, the smarter they work, they say, do you know what, I can actually do something for an hour and make what most people would make in a month. These kids are starting to understand that concept now. And I feel like they don't want to be, from my experience, the kids that I kind of talk to, they want to do a career that they absolutely love rather than what they have to
Yeah.
do.
Work smart, not work hard.
Definitely, 100%.
So other skills that the children are learning from content creation that goes beyond playing football, what are we saying that they're going to get out of this?
So first of all, life skills. A lot of kids when they come to me, they moan a lot at themselves, other players. They struggle with dealing with their emotions, which most kids do. So we're giving them those life skills to be able to manage their emotions, to play on autopilot. I always tell people football, any sport, 80% of football is psychology. It's them having the right mindset, managing their emotions, and playing on autopilot. So having that ability, so they've got that. So they know that actually they don't have to be the greatest player now. But if they put the repetition in and they keep on learning, they're going to get better and better and better until they get that result that they acquire. And then rather than being them, rather than them waiting for opportunities to get scouted, because there might be a scout that never turns up to their games and they're good enough to give them own a platform, a voice that when they speak to, you know, a manager or a coach, they can sell themselves effectively in a way where it's like, this is what I'm great, this is what I bring, and they can bring more value to, themselves of getting out there and getting opportunities out there as well. A bit like Tekka's kid, what he's created. It puts the
Yeah.
ball in their court. And
Yeah.
that's what they get.
Some people might say, I'm going to go to the negative
Okay.
people now,
I'm ready.
that we're setting kids up for a fall, that you know, we're teaching them to follow clicks and likes, and there could be trolls. How do we teach kids to create confidently and not really worry and care about the likes and the clicks? And how do we avoid the negativity?
Yes. So again, I feel like it's information. It's getting to the root cause of why the psychology behind it. Like why do these children and adults crave clicks and likes? And if you think about it, these social media platforms that we use, they have the best psychologists. They know exactly what to get us to click our phones and to crave this. So it's making them self-aware. You can use social media, or social media can use you. And if I think once children are aware of it, they then don't become a consumer of it and they use it for positive. I always tell the kids, like Spider-Man says, with great power comes great responsibility. So your why isn't to become famous and to, oh my God, everyone likes me, but you don't like yourself. You need to love yourself. And the only reason you use social media is to impact and add value to other people. That's why you use it. You gotta look yourself in the mirror every day and say, I love you. And what other people say is none of your business, none of your what. So once these kids understand that, yeah. So it's kind of social media is around. It's going to be around. It's in everyone's faces all the time. So let's educate our children to use it in a way where they're not they're not being used by the system of social media, but they're actually using that platform to get their opportunities and yeah, opportunities in life. And then from
Yeah.
there,
And you're giving kids exposure, you're helping them get access to sponsorship opportunities. What are the advantages of doing this for children and for the parents?
yeah, so I get a lot of parents saying to me, Emma, oh, it's expensive. This football journey is really expensive. And I'm looking at their kids and they've got the latest Man United t-shirt, latest Arsenal t-shirt, and I'm seeing a big sponsor on the front. And I asked little Jack, I'm like, Jack, how much is Chevrolet? How much are they paying you? And Jack's like, nothing. Mum had to buy that. Da, 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 da. So it's getting them aware that actually Ronaldo only ever wears Nike because Nike pay Ronaldo. And to create a platform where companies that need marketing, will support that child's journey with sponsorships. It gives them more opportunities to go and get the best coaches and opportunities that they wouldn't normally have. And I just believe with social media, like you, then it's a platform of attention, and businesses want to support and want to be seen, and it's a great fit. So it helps the parents, relieves the parents of, like, for example, getting care. Academies are not cheap. Yeah, so, and I think sometimes that's most kids that kind of make it as well is because they might have affluent family, parents, and not all children have that money. And it's sad. I remember as a kid, I had trials at Northampton and at Chelsea as well, but I couldn't attend them because I couldn't get there. And yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, that's one of the sort of ethos behind Lacey's. So we've got a foundation every time we sell a pair of bands, we donate 25p. That goes into a pot and that will help either individuals or clubs or teams, because we are also so brutally aware that. So for me, I feel like every child that wants to play should have the opportunity to play. And
Yes.
stories like yours, where you could have gone on to something at a certain place, but you couldn't go because you couldn't afford to get there. It feels criminal. So I just feel like that's why we align so much in our values of what you're doing at Street Ballers Academy and what we're trying to achieve at Lacey's.
Wait, yeah, Emma, I keep hearing you say trying. You are achieving. We are. It's happening. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. So if a child was to leave Street Ballers, they've been with you for 1 to 2 years, what would you hope that they would leave with they didn't have when they arrived?
So they would leave with a voice. They'd always speak up for what is right and what they want to be heard. A sense of feeling like that they know who they are, and a vision that's so strong that they know they're going to get to that destination of wherever it is that they want to get to in life. Whether it's to become a footballer, again, I tell the kids, like, if I could go back in time, I put Bristol Rovers and making it as a professional football player at the top, the pinnacle. Oh my God, Bristol Rovers, please let me get a pro contract. I put it up there. But if I could go back in time, my mindset would be, I'm going to become the best football player in the world. And oh my God, that sounds so out there. Sounds so like no way. And if you don't achieve that, for example, Ronaldo is no better in the sense of, like, as a human. He's a human like us, but his mindset was different, which allowed him to reach the heights because he believed first that he could reach them. So yeah, I want these kids to dream and to have a vision that is so, like, up there that they don't, like, them missing it and not getting to that place still puts them in that level, that realm of their dreams and doing what they love.
And parents, a message for parents. How can we be reinforcing that mindset at home?
So there's a very good book called The Conscious Parent. I'm not sure who the author is, but I believe sometimes what parents tend to do is they parent the way that their parents parenting them, or how they think they should parent. I feel like We have to learn to drive. You can't just get in a car and drive. We've got to sit back and go, actually, let's look at the psychology here. What I'm saying to that children, my parents have the best interests for their children, but what they give them isn't always the best, if that makes sense.
It
So,
makes total sense.
so what I'd say to the parents is do put the work in, study, psychology behind it on how you communicate. A great thing is ChatGPT. You could go to ChatGPT. This is how I'm speaking to my son or my daughter, and this is the results that I'm getting, or this is how they're reacting. Can you give me examples on a way that I can deliver it so they can get that result from it? And then I think I feel like ChatGPT can look through all of the different resources of emotional intelligence and all of the life skills, and it'll give them a great little plan as well. So parents, just do put the work in. Don't wing parenting. I think if you wing parenting, you deliver trauma. Like your parents before you, like their parents have probably given you trauma and they could have done things differently. We can be the cycle breakers. And it's okay that no parent's perfect. I think sometimes parents get defensive. No, but actually it's okay. We're gonna make mistakes. But your intention in your heart was never to do anything negative to your child. But I just believe if you have the best interest for your children, just put the work in, understand their language. And if you speak to them in their language, they'll understand it and they will take it on board.
We need to give that mistake card to the parents as well, don't we?
100%, yeah. Like just with I think with children, like because it's such a different time. Each generation's a different time. You got and have faith, parents. Have faith in your children. For me, when I go into schools and I go into behaviour units where children have been kicked out of mainstream school, I already believe they're going to do well for me. I trust them already. I believe you, and that transfers to the child. So when you stop worrying and just believe in your child that your child's got it. When you do that, they then go, Mum believes me, Dad believes me, and they just end up becoming that leader and getting out there and doing what they love. So yeah, just have faith, believe it. Don't try to control their life. Just allow them to, yeah, yeah.
So I think we've got time just for a couple of quick fires.
Yeah.
So, number one, confidence or talent, which matters more?
Confidence. Is it speed round?
Okay.
Just confidence.
Yeah, well, I always say quick fire. It never tends to be that quick fire, but best age to start teaching mindset.
In the womb.
Okay.
Wait, no,
Okay, that's one for the parents then. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not even lying. In the womb, I think.
Yeah.
Parents, yeah.
Okay. And to finish off, one word you want every kid to feel when they leave a street baller session.
Celebrated.
Lovely. Warren, I feel like we could have just kept going and going and going today. It's just so much wisdom, but I really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on and sharing everything with us. I actually, probably just before I finish, how can people find you?
Okay, so guys, if you go in your back garden and put the phone to the moon, there's a QR code. No, I'm joking. But guys, if you go to Street Ballers on any platform, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, reach out to me. Don't be afraid to reach out as well. I think sometimes in life people will get afraid to reach out, but definitely reach out. I love networking. And what Street Ballers Academy is all about is not just about just the kids playing football. It's we're bringing communities together as well. So if that resonates with you, if you like this, then definitely do reach out. Otherwise, I will come and find you.
Thank you so much. And we will put everything in the show notes. We'll put your contacts in there. And we'll also find the author of that book that you mentioned, and we'll put that in there as well. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time.
No, I'm sorry. Also, as well, guys, I've got a book on Amazon called The Art of Being Yourself. I feel like that's a great read for parents to pour into their kids.
Perfect. Great advice to end. Thank you so much, Warren.
No worries.